Divorced men. When she showed up for alimony, how did she react when you said no? Story 1. My ex, Tessa, treated alimony like a subscription she forgot to cancel. Except she thought I was the one paying for it forever. The divorce decree didn't award her a dime. She'd waived it to prove she wasn't like other women. 2 months later, she realized rent was real life and started calling me financially abusive for not funding her. Then she escalated. She showed up at my house on a Saturday morning like she was collecting a paycheck. Full hair, full makeup, full confidence. Holding a folder and a printed screenshot of my promotion announcement from LinkedIn. "I'm here for what you owe," she said, stepping forward like she owned the porch. I didn't even open the screen door. "I owe you nothing." Her smile twitched. "Don't play dumb. I sacrificed years for you. You also left for your coworker," I said. "And you signed the waiver." She slapped the folder against the glass. "I can take you to court. They'll make you pay. Judges love fairness." I finally opened the door, just enough to slide out one sheet of paper. It was a copy of the decree with the waiver highlighted. Big yellow line. Her signature. Date. Initials. She stared like it was written in another language. "That's not what that means." "It is exactly what it means," I said, "and I'm not negotiating on my porch." Her voice jumped an octave. "So you're just saying no? After everything?" "Yes," I said. "No." She stepped back, like my no had physically shoved her. Then the rage arrived in waves, crying, swearing, bargaining, then crying again. She threatened to call the police. I told her that alimony isn't a police matter. She threatened to tell everyone I was a monster. I told her she was welcome to post the decree too. When she realized I wasn't moving, her face hardened. "Fine. I'll go to court and make you regret this." I nodded. "Bring the waiver." She marched off my porch like she'd won something. The funniest part? She left the folder behind, open to the page with her own signature. Story 2. My ex-wife, Kayla, always performed drama like she was auditioning for a reality show. After the divorce, she invented a new role. Wronged woman denied alimony. Except she'd been the one who insisted on a clean break because she was too proud to accept help. Pride lasted until her new boyfriend dumped her and her car got repossessed. She showed up at my apartment building wearing sunglasses indoors, holding a designer purse I recognized. Mine. She'd accidentally kept it when she moved out. "I'm here to talk," she announced to the lobby like we had an audience. I stepped out of the elevator and stopped. "Not here." "Oh, don't be cold," she said sweetly. "I just need what's fair. I'm struggling." I kept my voice flat. "We already settled. No alimony." Her lips tightened. "You make more now. That doesn't change the decree." She pulled the sunglasses down, eyes wide, shimmering. "So you're going to let me suffer?" I glanced at the purse. "You're carrying my property while saying you're suffering." She froze, then recovered fast. "That's not the point." "It kind of is," I said. "Also, you showed up unannounced. This isn't a negotiation." She leaned closer. "You know what? You owe me. I built your confidence. I made you the man you are." I laughed once, short and humorless. "You cheated, moved in with the guy, and called me dead weight on your way out." Her face flashed red behind the makeup. "That was one mistake." "That you repeated," I said. "No." The word landed like a slap. People in the lobby pretended not to listen, but everyone was listening. Kayla's voice got sharp. "If you don't pay voluntarily, I'll ruin you. I'll tell everyone you're abusive." I didn't raise my voice. "Do it. Then I'll submit your texts to the court. And I want my purse back." Her mouth opened and closed. She looked around, realizing her audience wasn't cheering. She shoved the purse at me like it burned her hands. "Fine. Keep your stupid money." Then she stormed out, tripping on the edge of the lobby rug, caught herself and spun around like it was intentional. I watched her go, thinking, she didn't come for closure. She came for control. And no was the one thing she couldn't manipulate. Story 3. My ex didn't knock. She buzzed my condo like an emergency. When I answered, she said, "It's me. Open up. We need to talk about alimony." Like alimony was a package she forgot at my door. We'd been divorced a year. No alimony, mutual waiver. She had a good job, and she'd bragged during the divorce that she'd never need a man. I believed her. Apparently, her credit card companies didn't. I let her into the lobby, but not upstairs. She came in with a rehearsed speech and a tearful face, clutching a stack of papers. "I'm in trouble," she started. "I just need temporary help." I folded my arms. "From me?" "Yes," she said quickly. "It's not charity, it's alimony," I finished. "Which you waived." She pushed the papers toward me. "I talked to a friend. She said I can get it because you're doing better." I didn't touch the papers. "Your friend isn't a judge?" Her eyes flashed. "So you're really going to say no? After I supported you for years?" My laugh came out tired. "Supported me? You mean when you quit your job to find yourself and I paid the bills? She stiffened. That's not what happened. It is, I said, and I'm still saying no. That word, no, broke her script. She jumped straight to anger. You're punishing me. I'm enforcing the agreement, I said. She stepped in closer, voice low like a threat. If you don't help me, I can make this messy. I can claim you hid income. I took out my phone and opened the divorce decree PDF. Want to read your waiver out loud right here in the lobby? Her face drained. She glanced around and noticed the security guard watching. The guard wasn't smiling. She swallowed, then tried a different angle. Okay, what if we call it a loan? No, I said again. And then she did something I'll never forget. She slid to the floor like a movie villain, crying hard enough for the echo to bounce off the walls. I waited. People stared. The guard cleared his throat. Finally, she looked up with mascara streaks and said, You really don't care if I'm homeless? I crouched a little. Not to comfort her, just to be heard. You're not homeless. You're inconvenienced. Call your parents. Call your friends. Call your friend with legal advice. I'm not your plan. She stood up like she hated gravity, grabbed her papers and left without another word. The silence after the door shut felt like I'd finally evicted the last piece of our marriage. Story 4. I was at my kid's soccer practice when my ex-wife marched across the field like she owned the air. In one hand, a coffee. In the other, her phone, already recording. This was her new thing. Record first, think later. She stopped inches from me and said, loud enough for nearby parents to hear, So, are you going to start paying me alimony or what? I blinked. Not here. Oh, I want it here, she said, tilting the camera. Because you love embarrassing me in private. I kept my tone calm. You don't have alimony. You never did. She made a face like I'd insulted her. I'm the mother of your child. That means you owe me support. I pay child support, I said. On time. Every month. That's for the kid, she snapped. What about me? There it was. The real question. I looked straight at the phone. No, she gasped theatrically. Did you hear that? He said no. A couple parents glanced over, uncomfortable. One mom raised her eyebrows like, yikes. My ex stepped closer. You think you can just abandon me? I gave you my best years. You also filed for divorce, I said. And you signed the agreement. She waved her phone. Don't talk about paperwork like it's a person. You know what you did? I stayed quiet for a second, then said, if you want to talk about what I did, we can also talk about why you got no alimony. Your income, your attorney, and the fact you insisted you didn't want it. Her expression flickered. The camera dipped for half a second, like her hand forgot to perform. She tried to recover with volume. I didn't understand. I was emotional. You understood enough to demand my retirement account, I said. That did it. Her face hardened and she hissed, Fine. If you won't pay, I'll tell everyone you're a deadbeat. I nodded toward the field. Our child can hear you. She froze, eyes darting to where our kid was sprinting after the ball. For a moment, she looked like she remembered she was a mother before she was a victim. Then the mask came back. I'm not leaving until you agree. I didn't argue. I pulled out my phone, opened our parenting app and said, still calm, I'm documenting this. You're disrupting practice. If you don't stop, I'm calling the coach over. Her camera lowered. She looked around. No allies. No cheers. Just people watching a woman unravel in public. Her voice turned small, furious. You're enjoying this. I shook my head. I'm ending it. She stormed off the field and I didn't chase her. I stayed where my kid could find me after the game. Because that's what support actually looks like. Story 5. My ex, Bree, had a talent for showing up like a surprise bill. We were divorced 6 months when she texted, I'm coming by to pick up what I'm owed. I replied, You're owed nothing. Don't come. She came anyway. She arrived at dusk, parked crooked in my driveway, and walked up with a tote bag like she was collecting groceries. I opened the door and didn't step aside. Where's it at? She asked. Where's what? I said. She rolled her eyes. Alimony. Don't play. There is no alimony, I said. We both waved it. She smiled like she'd caught me lying. I talked to my cousin. She said I can get it because you're financially stable. I'm financially stable because I don't hand money to people who left me, I said. Her smile died. Wow, so petty. Accurate, I said. And still no. Bree's voice rose. You think I don't deserve anything? I supported your career. You mocked my career, I corrected. You called my job cute. Then you moved in with a bartender because he understood your vibe. She flinched like I'd swung at her. That's not relevant. It's the entire reason we're divorced, I said. She shoved the tote bag into my doorway. Fine. Then I'll take items instead. Consider it back pay. I stepped back and closed the door halfway. Try it and I'll call the police. Her eyes went wide. You'd call the police on me? Yes, I said, because you're threatening theft. She started crying instantly. No buildup, no warning. Like someone flipped a switch. I can't believe you're doing this. I have nothing. I stayed still. You have a job. It's not enough, she sobbed. I'm drowning. I paused. Not because I was tempted. Because I was remembering how many times I'd been drowning in that marriage while she told me to man up. I'm not your life raft, I said quietly. No. That word broke her again, this time into fury. She wiped her tears like they were an inconvenience and said, You'll regret this. I'll get it from you one way or another. I nodded toward the street. Then do it the legal way. She spun around, stomped to her car, and peeled off like she was escaping a crime scene. A minute later, my phone buzzed with a text. You're going to die alone. I stared at it, then blocked her number. It wasn't dramatic. It wasn't cinematic. It was just clean. And for the first time in years, no felt like peace. Story 6. My ex didn't call first. She sent a Venmo request with the note, alimony, overdue, like we were splitting a dinner bill. I laughed, declined it, and went back to work. 10 minutes later, my doorbell camera pinged. There she was, Nadia, standing on my porch with a plastic folder and a face like she'd practiced in the mirror. She knocked again, harder. When I opened the door, she didn't say hello. She said, We need to handle this like adults. I leaned on the frame. Adults read court orders. Her jaw tightened. Don't get smart. You're doing better than me. You're obligated. I'm not, I said. There's no alimony. She flipped open the folder and waved a printed screenshot of my Instagram. Me at a new car dealership. So what is this? You can buy toys, but you can't help me? I exhaled. That was a rental. For a work trip. She blinked, thrown off script, then recovered fast. Doesn't matter. You have money. I have expenses. Not my problem, I said. We're divorced. She stepped closer, lowering her voice like she was being intimate. Okay, let's not fight. Just give me something monthly. People will understand. It'll make you look good. I stared at her. So this is PR. Her face hardened. It's survival. No, I said. That word hit her like a bad signal. She snapped. You're punishing me because you're bitter. I'm protecting myself because you're entitled, I said. Then she tried a new tactic. She raised her phone and started recording. Say it again. Say you refuse to support the woman you married. I smiled without warmth. Gladly. I refuse to pay you alimony because the decree states zero alimony, and you signed it. Her hand trembled. Stop talking like that. You sound like a lawyer. Then listen like an adult, I said. Leave. She stood there, cheeks burning. And then, like clockwork, she shouted loud enough for the neighbors to hear, You're a cheap piece of... I didn't let her finish. I held up my phone and hit one button. I'm calling the non-emergency line. You're trespassing. The recording stopped. Her eyes darted. Suddenly, she looked small. You wouldn't. I am, I said. No. She backed down the steps, still glaring, but her confidence was gone. She got into her car, slammed the door, and peeled away like she was the victim of some great injustice. Later that night, she reposted a vague story about men who abandon women. I didn't respond. Because no is a full sentence, especially when it's backed by a court order. Story 7. My ex-wife showed up at my job, not my house. Not a cafe. My job, front lobby, during lunch, wearing a blazer she definitely bought for this moment. The receptionist called me and whispered, There's a woman here. She says it's urgent. I came down and found Lena standing with her arms crossed like she owned the building. She smiled when she saw me. It wasn't a happy smile. It was a, I'm about to make this public smile. Hi, she said, too loud. We need to talk about alimony. I kept my face neutral. You need to leave. She laughed. Oh, so now you're embarrassed? No, I said. I'm employed. She pulled out a sheet of paper. I wrote up an agreement. Just something simple. You pay me monthly. It's fair. I didn't even look. You waived alimony. You insisted on it. Her eyes narrowed. That was before I realized how much you'd thrive without me. I stared at her. So this is jealousy. She stepped closer, voice syrupy. This is accountability. You're benefiting from the life I helped build. Behind her, 2 coworkers slowed down, pretending to check their phones while listening. I spoke clearly. There is no alimony. I will not pay you. If you don't leave, I'm calling security. Lena's smile cracked. Security? Wow. You'd really do that to your ex-wife? Yes, I said. Because you're trying to intimidate me at work. Her cheeks flushed. She turned slightly, addressing the lobby like a stage. He wants to call security instead of helping me. Imagine. I didn't argue. I just walked to the desk and said, Please call building security. The receptionist pressed the button immediately. Lena's eyes widened. Are you serious? Completely, I said. No, she hissed. You think you're untouchable. Then security arrived, calm, professional, and asked her to leave. She tried one last performance. I'm his family. Security replied, not on this property. Ma'am, please exit. She stormed out, heels clicking like gunshots. 10 minutes later, HR emailed me a reminder about personal visitors. Embarrassing? Sure, but not as embarrassing as watching her realize her threats didn't work when there were witnesses and rules. No wasn't cruelty. It was boundaries with consequences. Story 8. After the divorce, my ex kept saying, we'll always be family. What she meant was, I'll always have access. She showed up when she wanted, texted when she wanted, and treated my life like a shared account. Then she lost her apartment. She arrived at my place carrying 2 suitcases and a grocery bag of toiletries. No warning. Just a knock, then a bright fake smile. Good news, she said. I'm moving in for a bit. I blinked. No, you're not. Her smile faltered. Come on. Don't be dramatic. It's temporary. We're divorced, I said. You can't move in. She rolled her eyes like I was being childish. Okay, fine. Then you can pay me alimony. Same thing. There is no alimony, I said. And even if there was, it wouldn't be same thing. She scoffed. So you'd rather see me homeless? I glanced at the suitcases. You're not homeless. You're unprepared. That word set her off. Unprepared? I supported you when you were nothing. I laughed once. You supported me by maxing out my credit cards and calling it manifesting. Her face twisted. You're cruel now. I kept my voice calm. I'm consistent. No. She tried the soft approach, voice shaking. Please. Just for a month. I'll sleep on the couch. I won't bother you. I didn't move. This isn't a shelter. Call your sister. She hates me, she snapped. Then call your mom. She'll judge me, and I'm supposed to be the option because I won't judge you? I asked. No. Her eyes filled with tears, but her tone stayed sharp. You're enjoying this. I wasn't. I was exhausted. I'm ending the cycle. She slammed her suitcase down and screamed. You can't just abandon me. I pointed at the street. You abandoned me first. You left. You signed. You're not entitled to my home or my money. That's when she did the boldest thing. She reached past me to step inside. I blocked the doorway. Don't! She froze, eyes wide, like she couldn't believe a boundary was physical. I pulled out my phone. If you try again, I'm calling someone. Not to mediate. To remove you. She stood there shaking, then grabbed her suitcases with violent jerks and dragged them down the steps, cursing under her breath. As she left, she spit, You'll regret this. I locked the door, heart pounding, and whispered to myself, No, I'll recover from it. Story 9. My ex didn't show up angry. She showed up sweet. That was the dangerous version. She texted, Can we talk? I baked something. Then she appeared at my doorstep holding a warm pie like a peace offering. I don't want to fight, she said softly. I just need help. I didn't invite her in. Help with what? She tilted her head, eyes glossy. Bills. Life. I'm drowning and you're thriving. I nodded slowly. We're not married. I know, she whispered. But you have a heart. I almost laughed, because this was the same woman who called me emotionally expensive during the divorce. She held out a folded paper. I drafted a simple agreement. Just a monthly amount. You can afford it. I didn't take it. No alimony. No agreement. Her smile stayed, but her eyes hardened. So you're refusing to support the woman who stood by you? You didn't stand by me, I said. You stood near me until something better appeared. She flinched. That's not fair. That's accurate, I replied. No. The pie trembled in her hands. She set it on the porch rail like it might explode. You're really going to do this? Yes. Her sweetness snapped like a rubber band. Okay. Then I'll tell people why you're saying no. I raised an eyebrow. Go ahead. She leaned in, voice low. I'll say you were abusive. I'll say you controlled money. I'll say you ruined me. My stomach tightened, but I kept my tone even. If you lie publicly, I'll respond publicly, with documents. Her face went pale. You wouldn't. I pulled out my phone and opened our old messages. Screenshots of her admitting she didn't want alimony because she didn't want to look desperate. I didn't show her. I just said, try me. She stared for a long second, then grabbed the pie like it offended her. Fine. Keep your precious money. Then she did the pettiest thing imaginable. She threw the pie onto my porch. It hit the wood with a wet smack, filling the air with cinnamon and humiliation. She walked away like she'd won. I watched the mess dripping between the porch boards and thought, that pie was never peace. It was a prop. And no was the first real thing I'd given her in years. Story 10. My ex and I shared a dog for years. After the divorce, I kept him because I had the yard, the schedule, and the patience. She said she was too busy for responsibility, then posted about missing her baby for sympathy likes. One evening, she showed up at my gate with a leash and a smile. I'm taking him tonight. I stepped outside, closing the gate behind me. No. Her smile twitched. Don't be weird. I'm his mom, too. You haven't seen him in 3 months, I said. And you're not taking. She sighed dramatically. Fine. Then you can at least help me with my rent. I'm struggling. I stared at her. You came for the dog, but you really came for money. She shrugged like it was obvious. It's all connected. You have stability. I don't. That's not my debt, I said. Her tone sharpened. You don't get to just walk away from someone you promised forever to. You walked away, I said, and we made it legal. She leaned forward, eyes flashing. So you're saying no to alimony? No to help? No to everything? Yes, I said. No. She laughed, but it sounded cracked. Wow, you really became selfish. I looked at her carefully. Selfish is showing up here with a leash and a rent problem and thinking you can guilt me into paying. Her face went red. I can take you back to court. You can try, I said, but you'll lose. Again, that word, again, hit her pride hard. She lifted her phone, and I expected recording. Instead, she called someone and put it on speaker. Dad, she said, voice trembling. He's refusing to help me. A man's voice answered, annoyed. Help you with what? With alimony, she snapped. There was a pause. Then, didn't you waive that because you said you didn't need him? Silence. Her eyes widened like she couldn't believe her own father just outed her. He continued, stop embarrassing yourself. Come home if you're broke. Don't harass him. She ended the call so fast it was like she'd been burned. For a moment, she looked like she might cry. Then she slammed the leash onto the ground, grabbed it back up, and stormed away. Inside, my dog wagged his tail, blissfully unaware. Outside, she learned the worst part of entitlement. Eventually, even your supporters get tired of your lies. Story 11. My ex, Marla, showed up at my new place like she was delivering bad news. Hood up, hands in pockets, eyes scanning the building like she didn't want to be seen. I figured she was here about the last box of her stuff she'd left behind. Nope. I need money, she said, before I could even ask why she was there. I didn't invite her in. For what? Don't do that, she snapped. Just help me. Alimony. Whatever. We have no alimony, I said. You signed that. Her lips pressed together. I didn't think you'd actually enforce it. I stared at her. So you thought the court order was just vibes? She flinched, then tried to soften. I'm behind on everything. My landlord's threatening eviction. I'm panicking. I nodded once. That's scary. Her eyes lit up like she'd found the right button. So you get it, and I'm still saying no, I said. Her face collapsed. Are you serious? Yes. The rage snapped in instantly. You're doing this because you hate me. I don't hate you, I said. I just don't owe you. She stepped closer, voice shaking. I gave you my 20s, and you gave your 30s to your soulmate from the gym, I said. Remember him? Her eyes flashed. Low blow. Truth, I corrected. No. She breathed hard, then whispered, if you don't help me, I'll tell everyone you abused me. I didn't move. Do it. And I'll tell everyone you threatened me in writing. She froze. What? I pulled my phone out and opened our last thread. Her messages from weeks ago. Pay me, or I'll ruin you. I'll say whatever I have to. I didn't show her the screen. I didn't need to. My tone did it. Her confidence drained as she realized I wasn't bluffing. She swallowed, eyes wet again. But this time the tears looked real. So that's it? You're just done? I nodded. I've been done. You just didn't accept it. Marla stood there for a long moment like she was waiting for me to chase her. When I didn't, she turned and walked away, shoulders stiff. The next day, she posted a cryptic status about men who abandon women. I didn't comment. I just saved the screenshot. Because with Marla, no wasn't the end. It was the start of her next story. Story 12. My ex-wife had an obsession with showing up to prove she still mattered. She'd show up at my family's events, show up at my kids' school, show up at my church once just to sit in the front row like a threat. So when she showed up at my garage sale, I wasn't surprised. I was selling old furniture. She walked up, sunglasses on, and picked up a lamp like she was inspecting evidence. Then she said casually, you could just sell less stuff and send me the money instead. I blinked. What? Alimony, she said like it was obvious. I'm not asking for much. There's no alimony, I replied. You waived it, she scoffed. I didn't waive it. I just didn't think you'd be heartless. My neighbor, a retired cop, was browsing a box of books nearby. I saw his head tilt slightly. My ex stepped closer and lowered her voice. You're making me look stupid. You're doing that on your own, I said. No. Her cheeks flushed. So you're really going to say no in front of everybody? I lifted my voice slightly, not to yell but to be heard. Yes. There is no alimony. A woman buying kitchenware looked up. My ex's eyes darted, realizing she'd lost control of the scene. She tried to smile. Okay, fine. Then I'll take this lamp. Consider it payment. I took the lamp from her hand and set it back on the table. That's theft, she hissed. Don't embarrass me. You're the one making it public, I said. She turned to the crowd like she expected support. Can you believe this? After everything I did for him? My neighbor finally spoke, calm as ice. Ma'am, if there's a court order, you can't just take property. My ex's face went rigid. Stay out of it. He shrugged. You're the one involving everyone. She looked at me, eyes blazing. You think you're so righteous? No, I said. I think you're done. She stormed off, and the garage sale went quiet for a moment before someone awkwardly said, So, how much for the lamp? I sold it for $10, and it felt like a better deal than the entire marriage. Story 13. My ex didn't ask for alimony at first. She asked for help, then support, then a little something monthly. It was always phrased like kindness, never like entitlement, until she showed up at my door with a notary stamp. She held up a paper and smiled. I made it official. I stared. What is that? A post-divorce support agreement, she said brightly. You sign, we notarize, and it's easy. No court. I took the paper, read the first line, and almost laughed. It wasn't support, it was an invoice. Monthly payment, late fees, and a clause about maintaining her standard of living. I handed it back. No. Her smile twitched. Don't be impulsive. Read the whole thing. I did, I said. No. Her eyes narrowed. So you're refusing to be a decent man? I'm refusing to be your bank, I replied. She stepped forward, voice low and sharp. You think you can just rebuild and leave me behind? That's the definition of divorce, I said. She looked at the notary. Yes, she brought a notary. Like she expected him to argue with me. The notary just stood there, uncomfortable, holding his stamp like a useless weapon. My ex tried again, switching to tears. I'm struggling. I can't do this alone. I nodded. I believe you're struggling. Her face brightened, until I added, and I still won't sign. The tears stopped instantly. Rage replaced them so fast it was almost impressive. You're disgusting, she spit. After all my sacrifices. Your sacrifices were choices, I said. And so is mine. She turned to the notary. Can he refuse? The notary cleared his throat. Yes, ma'am. He can refuse. That's when she lost it. Screaming on my doorstep, calling me names, accusing me of ruining her life. My neighbor cracked the door and peeked out. I didn't raise my voice once. I just repeated the same word until she got tired of hearing it. No. Eventually, she grabbed the paper, snatched the notary's stamp like she might throw it, then shoved it back into his hands and stormed off. The notary lingered, mortified. Sorry, sir, he muttered. I nodded. So am I. Story 14. I was at my mom's house for dinner when my ex walked in like she'd never left. She didn't knock. She still had a key. One my mom forgot to ask for back because she kept hoping we'd work it out. My ex waved cheerfully at everyone. Hi. I just wanted to talk to him. My mom's face went pale. My stepdad looked like he was about to stand up. I set my fork down. You don't have a key anymore. She blinked. It still works. Not after tonight, I said. She laughed lightly like I was joking, then leaned down and whispered, Can we do this outside? I don't want a scene. I stared at her. Then why did you come here? Her smile tightened. Because you won't answer me. I stood up. What do you want? She exhaled dramatically. Alimony. I need help. You're being unreasonable, my mom whispered. Honey, I held up my hand to stop her. Then I looked at my ex and said clearly, No. My ex's eyes widened. Not in front of your mom, especially in front of my mom, I said. So you don't twist it later. Her cheeks flushed. You're humiliating me. You walked into my mother's house uninvited, I said. You did that. She started crying, turning to my mom. I'm just struggling. I didn't think he'd be so cruel. My stepdad finally stood. You need to leave. My ex snapped. This is between us. He didn't blink. Not in my house. She looked around, shocked that the room wasn't on her side. Then she tried the nuclear option. If he doesn't pay, I'll tell everyone why he really left. I leaned forward slightly. Go ahead. Her lips parted. She wasn't expecting that. I continued calm and deadly. Tell them about the affair too. Tell them about the texts. Tell them about the waiver you signed. My mom's face hardened. Affair? She repeated. My ex's eyes flicked to mine like a warning. I didn't flinch. She stood there, trembling. And for the first time, her power was gone. She realized she'd walked into the wrong house thinking she owned the place. She left without another word, and my mom quietly said, I'm changing the locks tomorrow. I nodded. Make it tonight. Story 15. My ex didn't show up with tears or threats. She showed up with a spreadsheet. She met me at a coffee shop, slid her laptop around, and said, I've calculated what you owe me. I stared at the screen. It had tabs. Opportunity cost, emotional labor, lifestyle adjustment. Like our marriage was a business deal and she was billing for overtime. You're serious, I said. Very, she replied. I supported your career growth. The least you can do is contribute monthly. I took a sip of coffee. There's no alimony. She tapped the screen. Court orders can be revisited. No, they can't. At least not like this, I said. And you waived it. She smiled thinly. That was before I understood my worth? I nodded. Your worth isn't my monthly payment. Her eyes narrowed. So you're just going to say no? Yes, I said. No. She leaned in, voice quiet but sharp. You think you're winning, but you're going to look like the villain. I shrugged. I'm okay with that. She blinked, thrown off again. You're okay with everyone thinking you abandoned me? I didn't abandon you, I said. You left. You filed. You bragged you'd never need me. Her jaw clenched. That was pride. And this is entitlement, I said. For a moment, she just stared at the spreadsheet like it might defend her. Then she snapped the laptop shut and stood up so hard her chair screeched. Fine, she said loudly. Enjoy your money. People turned to look. She wanted the spotlight. She always did. I stayed seated and said, calm enough to sound bored. No, that final word followed her out of the cafe. And the best part? She never asked again, because she finally understood I wasn't negotiating. I was enforcing reality story 16. My ex didn't show up alone. She brought her brother. I opened my door and saw them standing side by side like a bad cop, worst cop routine. Her brother, built like a refrigerator, gave me a look that said he expected me to fold. She smiled, all sweetness. We're just here to talk. I didn't move. About what? Alimony, she said, like she was ordering takeout. You've had enough time to be hurt. Now you can be fair. Her brother cracked his knuckles. Subtle, but not subtle. Man, just handle it, he muttered. I looked from him back to her. There is no alimony. It's in the decree. She rolled her eyes. Paperwork doesn't erase what you owe. It literally does, I said. Her brother stepped forward. Don't be difficult. She's struggling. I nodded once. Then she should call you. His face tightened. My ex snapped. Don't get cute. I pulled my phone out and hit record. Not because I wanted drama, but because I could feel it coming. Say it again, I said calmly. Tell me what you're here for. She blinked at the phone. Are you recording me? Yes, I said. You brought backup to intimidate me at my home. Her brother raised his hands. Whoa, relax. My ex's smile vanished. You're really going to do this? I held the doorframe. I'm going to say no, and you're going to leave, she hissed. You're humiliating me. You came to my house with a witness, I replied. You did that. For a second, she looked like she might swing. Then she pivoted and started crying, loud and theatrical, so the neighbors would hear. He's refusing to help me. He's cold. He's heartless. Her brother glanced around, suddenly aware of curtains moving. I said one sentence, clear and firm. There is no alimony. You waived it. Now leave my property. She froze, realizing my tone didn't match her performance. She grabbed her brother's sleeve and pulled him away like retreating from a losing battle. As they walked off, her brother muttered, "This isn't over." I called after them, still recording. "It is for today." That night she texted from a new number. "You embarrassed me." I replied, "No. You embarrassed yourself." Then I blocked that one too. Story 17. My ex-wife showed up at my gym, of all places, wearing lipstick and an expression like she'd planned an ambush. I was mid-set when I felt someone staring. I looked up and saw her leaning on a machine, arms crossed, like she belonged there. "Can we talk?" she asked. I set the weight down slowly. "Not here," she smiled. "You always say that. Funny how you never say yes anywhere." I wiped my hands and kept my voice low. "What do you want?" "Support," she said. "Alimony." "You're clearly doing great." I laughed once. "Because I pay my own bills." Her smile faltered. "Don't be nasty. I'm being honest," I said. "There's no alimony." She stepped closer, dropping her voice. "Then you can just help me under the table." I stared at her. "So you want me to commit fraud?" She flinched. "Don't exaggerate." I glanced around. A guy on the treadmill was definitely listening. I said louder now. "No!" Her eyes widened. "Lower your voice. You came to my gym," I replied. "You chose this audience." She tried a different angle. "You owe me for everything I did. I supported your dreams." "You mocked them," I said. "And you left when they started working." Her face twisted. "That's not what happened." "It is," I said. "No." She snapped. "Fine. If you won't pay, I'll tell everyone you're abusive." I didn't move. "Do what you want." She leaned in and hissed. "You think you're safe now? You're not." That was the moment the gym manager walked over because the tension was obvious. "Is everything okay here?" My ex turned instantly sweet. "Oh, we're just talking." The manager looked at me. I said, calm as a locked door, "She's harassing me. Please ask her to leave." My ex's face went blank. Excuse me? The manager repeated it, polite but firm. Ma'am, you need to exit the facility. She sputtered. I'm his wife. Ex-wife, I corrected. Her cheeks burned as people stared openly now. She grabbed her bag and stormed out, and the room exhaled with her. After she left, the manager asked if I wanted to file a complaint. I said yes, because no isn't just a word. Sometimes it's documentation. Story 18. My ex ambushed me at our kids' parent-teacher conference. I was sitting in a tiny chair meant for elementary students, listening to the teacher talk about reading progress, when she slid into the seat next to me like she was part of my life again. Halfway through, she whispered, "We need to revisit support." I didn't react. Not here. She smiled at the teacher like she hadn't just dropped a grenade. He never wants to talk. The teacher looked uncomfortable and kept going. After the meeting in the hallway, my ex blocked my path. "You're going to pay me alimony." I kept my voice steady. "No." Her eyes widened like I'd sworn. "You can't just say no to responsibility." "I can," I said, "because it's not my responsibility." She tightened her grip on her purse strap. "I'm struggling." "You're living fine." "It's unfair." I nodded once. "Life is unfair." "The divorce agreement is not," she scoffed. "I didn't think you'd be this petty." I lowered my voice. "You're doing this in a school hallway." "Who's petty?" She tried the guilt route. "Our child deserves a stable mother. Our child deserves parents who don't weaponize school," I replied. Her face reddened. "So you're just going to watch me drown?" I paused, then said, "I'll watch you learn to swim." "No." That's when she raised her voice on purpose. "He refuses to support me." A few parents turned. A staff member glanced over. I took out my phone and opened the parenting app. "I'm documenting that you're creating a scene at school. If it continues, I'll request future meetings separately." She froze. She hated consequences more than she hated no. She leaned in, teeth clenched. "You think this makes you look good?" I met her stare. "I don't care how I look. I care what's true." She stepped back, breathing hard, and then stormed away down the hallway, heels echoing like a countdown. Later that evening, I got a message. "You'll regret humiliating me." I replied, "I didn't humiliate you. You chose the stage." Story 19. My ex showed up at my door with a suitcase and a smile I recognized. The "I'm about to rewrite history" smile. "I'm here for what's mine," she said. I stared at the suitcase. "That better be your clothes." She laughed lightly. "Don't be dramatic. I just need a place for a bit. You can't let me be out there." I didn't step aside. "No." Her smile froze. "Excuse me?" I repeated it. "No. You're not coming in. And you're not getting alimony." She blinked rapidly, like the word broke her processing. "You can't do that." "I can," I said. "Because you aren't my wife." She tried to push the suitcase forward like it would force me to cooperate. "I'm not asking forever. Just until I'm stable." "You had stable," I replied. "You left it." Her eyes flashed. "I left because you were impossible. And now you're back because reality is impossible," I said. "Still no." She turned her head slightly like she was listening for an audience. When none appeared, she created one. She started calling my name louder, like she wanted neighbors to hear. "Are you really going to do this to me?" I kept my voice calm. "Yes." "Leave." She suddenly reached into her purse and pulled out a piece of paper. "I have documents." I glanced. It was a handwritten list titled, "What You Owe Me." There were items like emotional damage, lost time, and therapy. I couldn't help it. I laughed. Her face twisted. "Don't laugh. I'm serious." "So am I," I said. "No." She stepped back, trembling, then snapped, "I'll call the cops and tell them you threatened me." I raised my phone. "I have a camera over the door. It records audio." Her eyes went wide. The bluff died on her lips. She grabbed her suitcase, dragging it down the steps like it weighed twice as much now. At the bottom, she turned and spat, "You were supposed to take care of me." I didn't yell. I just said it one last time. "No." And the door closed like a final verdict. Story 20. My ex tried to collect alimony like it was a debt the universe assigned me. She showed up at my sister's wedding, not the ceremony. She waited until the reception, when people had drinks in their hands and emotions in their chest. She cornered me near the bar, smiling like we were old friends. "Look at you," she said, "all dressed up. Must be nice." I kept my voice polite. "What do you want?" She glanced around at the fairy lights, the music, the open bar. Then she said, "You can afford to help me." I stared. "Are you serious right now?" She shrugged. "It's a perfect time. You won't make a scene." I leaned closer. "You're the one making a scene by even saying this here?" Her smile tightened. "I need alimony. I'm entitled." "You're not," I said. "And I'm not discussing it at my sister's wedding." She laughed softly. "So you're saying no?" "Yes," I said. "No." Her eyes narrowed. "You always say no when it matters." I exhaled. "It matters to you because you want money. It matters to me because this is my family. She tried to grab my sleeve. Just promise you'll help. Just a little. You're making me look pathetic. I pulled my arm back. Stop. Her voice got sharp. You owe me for wasting my time. I turned slightly so a couple nearby relatives could see us, because I knew she preferred private corners where she could twist the story later. If you keep this up, I'll ask the venue staff to escort you out. Her face flushed. You wouldn't. I nodded toward my cousin, a groomsman, who had already noticed and was walking over. My ex saw him too, and her confidence collapsed. She leaned in, hissing. You're humiliating me, I replied, quiet and final. You shouldn't have come here. She backed away, trying to reassemble her dignity like spilled drink. Then she disappeared into the crowd. Later, my sister asked me, was she bothering you? I said, it's handled, because for once, it was. Story 21. My ex showed up with a cashier's check template printed from the internet. I'm not joking. She knocked, stepped into my porch light, and held it up like a warrant. I need you to sign this, she said. Then you can just deposit it monthly. Easy? I stared at the paper. It had blanks for my name, her name, and an amount she'd typed in. $1,200. In bold. You made yourself a check, I said. She smiled like she was proud. It's called simplifying. It's called delusion, I replied. No. Her smile twitched. Don't be dramatic. You can afford it. Affording something doesn't mean I owe it, I said. There's no alimony, she waved a hand. Court orders change. People renegotiate all the time. Not on my porch with a fake check, I said. Her eyes narrowed. You're enjoying power. I leaned against the doorframe. You're confusing power with boundaries. She stepped closer. I'm being reasonable. I'm not even asking for half. I laughed once. You're asking for anything. The answer is no. Then she did the thing she always did when she felt cornered. She tried to shame me into compliance. She turned her head toward the street and called out, "Can you believe he won't help me?" A neighbor's dog barked. No humans appeared. Her attempt at an audience fell flat. Her face reddened. Fine. If you won't sign, I'll take you to court and show them how cold you are. I nodded. Show them your fake check too. That's when her confidence cracked. She crumpled the paper like it offended her, then threw it at my feet. You were supposed to take care of me. I didn't yell. I didn't argue. I just said the same word again, slower this time, like she needed it translated into reality. No, she stood there for a second, breathing hard, then stomped away. After she left, I picked up the crumpled check, unfolded it, and snapped a photo. Not for revenge, for proof. Because with her, the line between I asked and he abused me was always one tantrum away. Story 22. My ex tried to collect alimony through my friends. I found out because my buddy Paul called me and said, "Hey, so, weird question. Did you two agree you'd help her out?" I felt my stomach drop. Why? Because she messaged me, he said. She said you promised her monthly support, but you're refusing now. Classic. She couldn't force me, so she tried to embarrass me. That weekend, she showed up at our usual bar where the guys watch games. She walked in like she belonged at the table, smiled at everyone, and sat right next to me without asking. "Hi," she said brightly. "I've missed this." Paul looked like he wanted to crawl into the wall. I kept my tone controlled. "What are you doing here?" She sighed dramatically. "I'm just trying to solve a problem." "You won't talk to me privately." "You mean you won't accept no privately?" I said. Her smile sharpened. "So say it. Say it in front of your friends. Tell them you refuse to help me." I glanced around the table. Everyone suddenly found the TV very interesting. I set my drink down. "There is no alimony. And I'm not paying you anything." Her eyes widened in fake shock. "Wow, so you're really just leaving me with nothing." Paul finally spoke, cautious. "Didn't you say you didn't want alimony in the divorce?" My ex snapped her head toward him. "Stay out of it." Paul raised his hands. "You brought me into it." She turned back to me, voice low and angry. "You see? This is what you do. You make me look crazy." "You are acting crazy," I said. "And I'm done." Then she pulled out her phone and started scrolling dramatically. "I have messages. I have proof. I leaned in slightly. "If you keep harassing me in public, I'm calling the bartender and asking you to be removed." Her mouth opened. She wasn't expecting consequences, only sympathy. She stood up so hard her chair screeched. "Unbelievable," she said loudly. "Men like you deserve to be alone." I nodded once. "Maybe. But at least I'll be solvent." She stormed out, and the table stayed silent until Paul finally exhaled and said, "Dude, she's unhinged." I didn't smile. I just took a sip and said, "That's why the answer is no."